So now we're putting the weld lines on the side of the boat for the ballast tanks. I'm overdoing this a bit, even using this cotton, and this is a new idea for me, but I figured if I can super glue the cotton onto the side and then paint it on very carefully, I should be able to get this right. And what I've done, as you can see, is I've super glued the top on, and once it's hard, pulled it down with super glue right along the length of the cotton, and that way it's all stuck. And what I'm doing now is just strengthening it around the place where it's going to pull apart, because I'm going to use my scalpel in a minute to cut these little bits of cotton. Now, I wasn't sure how this would work, but in the end this worked pretty nicely, I have to say, and it's a nice subtle touch to the lines on the ballast tank, which you do see in reality on the boat. So now I've started to paint the upper coaming in black, and just using a nice big brush and going over this. Interesting thing is that when you paint with the black, you get a sort of an uneven finish at first. One of the things is, if you mix the paint up very carefully, you can see me now doing the entire ballast tank side. Some parts are, and obviously I'm using flat paint. You never use shiny gloss paint on boats like this, or any ship at all, ever. But you find that some parts of the paint are a little more glossy than others, and it doesn't, the end result of just the painting process is not that pleasing. Now, this is the pattern I'm going to use on white transfer material, and you can see now I've put it onto the side of the sail, and the outside of the transfer is black, the inside is white, and I've gone over the outside of the black of the transfer, which is black out of the printer, with the actual paint of the sail. Just picked it out, and then of course painted over it with some flat varnish. Now I'm making a mast that's going to come up inside the hull as the boat submerges, using a bit of foam. In actual fact, this didn't work all that well, and I'm going to have to increase the size of the piece of foam to make it rise automatically as you can see, as the boat submerges. Not a problem, I'll get that working really well. And you can see it on some of the videos, and it's on an angle, and that's actually the reason why it's not working. It's got to be perfectly horizontal. So I'm putting some water on the bow, and you can see me here putting a transfer on, sliding the backing out and sliding the transfer on. The trick with this is to use a brush with some water just to get all of the air bubbles out, get it all looking good. And you can see here, that's the sign on the side, this is the sign on the side of the sail, fairly carefully replicated. And here I've painted black, as I said, over the black part of the transfer. And now I've put the white markers on the bow and the stern. I've only seen the boat with this once in a picture, but it looks fantastic. And doesn't that look good? That was really worth it to get the sail looking just like that, which is just exactly how it looks in reality. So there's the matte varnish that I've used just to go over the transfers first to hold them in place. But then I go over the entire hull and it looks great. Now what I'm going to do in a minute is hand over to another video which is all about how the boat operates on the water, and it's a video that I made for an automation competition, which unfortunately I didn't win. I mean, my automation component of the boat is relatively small, so I guess that's to be expected. But this varnish just really finishes it off beautifully, and I mentioned before some of the unevenness of the black, flat black. It sorts that out absolutely beautifully. I was very happy with this. It looks like it has some blue and white in it, but that's all going to go. Okay, one thing we do before we go down to the pond is I need to turn the boat on, the transmitter on, and just retract the servos. The Arduino is doing that. That's the reason it's happening so very nicely and slowly. And once they're up, the servos turn off, both of them. That's it, they're dead. Let's go. Alright, so we click this switch this way to take a snapshot and then easily throw it the other way to put it in auto. Neutral means that the boat is not controlled or not taking a snapshot. And this switch away from me means to dive, and toward me means surface routines, and I just drop it back into the central position after I've clicked it. We're here at the lake. It's been rotten weather and I've just really had to take a chance here, so I've dropped it in the water and it's spinning away from us nicely. My wife is doing the camera work, and we'll see how we go. It's just not easy to video submarines. So here are the hydroplanes opening. That's looking very nice. I've got it. It's not actually sinking. I could do with some more lead. It's a bit of a problem. And because of that, I haven't been able to set the snapshot. So I'm sailing it away, using the hydroplanes now to pull it down. And once the sail is clear of the water and it's now down, I flick the snapshot and put it in auto. And it's holding depth now very nicely. It's not so easy for the camera person. So now I'm putting it on surface routine and up it comes, and I'm running straight into another boat. This is what happens at times like this. But you can see basically how that works. The main pump is now on and the boat is coming up from the depths. Yes, I just missed about 3 boats there. Never that easy. So we're coming in now and I've hit the dive button, and the first thing that happens is that the piston's moving, so you're not really seeing much in relation to the boat going down, but then the main pump starts. It's very quickly full. I think the routine is now finished, so at this point I pull the hydroplane down, flick the switch forward into auto control like that, and the boat is now holding its depth.
Haven't got it. No, I don't see it anymore.
And doing so very nicely, I might add. My wife thinks that she's lost it at this point. As long as she holds the camera there, we're fine. I have to say that is as close to perfect as I want. It's very, very nice indeed. Yep, she's lost it. That's it, caught it again for a moment. So the pressure gauge holds the boat very nicely. We're just doing another diving run here. It's easier to video a diving run than it is a surfacing run because it's obviously difficult to see the boat prior to surfacing. And we're not too successful this time. But down she goes once again. I use the hydroplanes, then just click it into remote. Now we've picked her up on surfacing, but a bit late. And now I've got the main pump on. I like to control that myself to empty the tank. And she's coming clear of the water and looking very nice. Now my wife's struggling here, but you can see the hydroplanes now are tucking in, and we're going to do a power run and come back. You can see why they tucked the hydroplanes in when they were moving through the ocean quickly. She's got a nice burst of speed. Looks like my aerial's come a bit adrift. Never mind. But you see pictures of the Nautilus running just looking like this. She really had some power, and that's very nice. So just bringing it in now, and we'll pack it all away before it rains. There you go. The Nautilus.